Hello, friend. Welcome to Science for Sleep. Whether you have come back tonight, or you are finding this quiet channel for the first time, this is a calm place to slow down, learn something gentle, and let the day slowly fall away. Tonight, we are going to look closely at one of the most familiar fruits on earth, the banana. It may be sitting in a bowl on the kitchen counter. It may be tucked into a lunch bag. It may be ripening slowly beside apples, oranges, or a half-empty mug of tea. Its peel is bright yellow. Its shape is simple. Its flavor is soft, sweet, and easy to recognize. And because bananas are so common, they can feel almost too ordinary to question. But the banana is not ordinary at all. It is one of the strangest fruits humans have ever depended on. The plant that grows it is not really a tree, even though it can rise higher than a person. A banana plant can reach more than 15 feet tall, and some types can grow even taller in warm, wet regions. But its trunk is not made of wood. It is made of tightly wrapped leaf bases, pressed together into a thick green column called a pseudostem. Pseudo simply means false. So the banana's trunk is really a false stem. It looks strong and tree-like from a distance, but inside it is soft, layered, and full of water. The banana plant is actually a giant herb, a huge relative of smaller flowering plants, not an apple tree or an orange tree. That one fact already changes the way the banana feels. The fruit in your hand did not come from a wooden trunk and spreading branches. It came from a tall, tender tower of leaves. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, you're welcome to subscribe. And if it feels natural, to leave a comment sharing where you're listening from tonight. It helps others find their way to this calm corner of the world, one sleepy traveler at a time. The quiet continues here, just as it is. The fruit itself is even more surprising. Many wild bananas are filled with hard black seeds. If you cut one open, it may look nothing like the smooth, pale fruit sold in grocery stores. The wild pulp can be thin. The seeds can be large enough to make the fruit difficult to eat. In some wild bananas, the seeds take up so much space that the fruit feels more like a tough seed case than a soft snack. The banana most people know today is different because humans kept choosing unusual plants. Plants with more flesh, plants with fewer seeds, plants that were easier to peel, carry, cook, and eat. Over thousands of years, people in tropical places such as New Guinea and Southeast Asia learned to keep those useful banana plants alive. They did not always grow them from seeds. Instead, they often replanted living shoots that rose from the base of the plant. Those shoots, called suckers, allowed one good banana plant to be copied again and again. So the banana became more than a wild fruit. It became a living memory, a plant passed from one garden to another, from one village to another, from one generation to the next. Modern sweet bananas are often nearly seedless because of a process called parthenocarpy. That means the fruit can grow without normal fertilization. The plant still makes fruit, but it does not fill that fruit with hard, mature seeds. This is why the inside of a banana feels so smooth. It is why a child can eat one without thinking about pits, stones, or crunchy seeds. And it is also why bananas became so useful to humans. They were soft, portable, sweet, easy to digest, easy to share. But this smoothness came with a hidden cost. A banana that does not make normal seeds cannot spread like many other fruits. It needs help. It needs someone to carry its living shoots, someone to plant them in warm soil, someone to keep the line going. That is part of why the banana's history is also human history. It follows gardens, ships, farms, markets, railways, and grocery stores. It follows ancient farmers in the wet tropics. It follows global trade routes across oceans. It follows the rise and fall of famous banana varieties, including one called Gros Michel, which once dominated exports before disease changed the industry. And it follows the Cavendish banana, the familiar supermarket variety that now fills fruit displays around the world. All of that history is folded into a fruit that weighs only a few ounces. A yellow curve resting quietly on a table. Simple at first glance. But behind that peel is a giant herb pretending to be a tree. A wild fruit, reshaped by human hands. A seedless body, copied through time. And a soft reminder that even the most familiar things can become strange and beautiful when we finally look closely. That quiet trick begins in the plant itself. A banana plant can stand in a field with the height and shape of a young tree. In warm places with deep soil and steady rain, some banana plants can rise 15 to 20 feet above the ground. Their broad leaves can stretch 6 feet long, sometimes more. And when the wind tears them into strips, they look like green ribbons hanging from a tall tropical pole. From far away, the plant seems to have a trunk. Up close, that trunk tells a different story. It is made from leaf bases wrapped tightly around one another. Each new leaf grows from the center and pushes upward, adding another layer to the thick column. This column is called a pseudostem, which means full stem. It can feel firm from the outside, yet it is packed with water and soft plant tissue. A true tree trunk grows rings of wood year after year. A banana pseudostem grows more like a rolled stack of leaves. If a strong storm cuts through a banana plant, the inside does not show the hard grain of maple, oak, or apple wood. It shows pale, wet layers, almost like the inside of a giant leek. That is why botanists describe bananas as giant herbs. They belong to the genus Musa, a group of flowering plants that includes wild and cultivated bananas. The part above the ground looks tall and dramatic, but the lasting body of the plant sits lower, hidden near the soil. At the base is an underground structure called a corm. A corm is a thick storage stem that holds energy and sends up new growth. From this buried center, the banana plant builds itself again and again. The leaves rise first. Then, after many months of growth, a flower stalk pushes up through the middle of the pseudostem. On many commercial banana farms, a plant may take around 9 to 15 months to produce a bunch, depending on the variety, temperature, rainfall, and care. The flower stalk eventually bends downward under its own weight. Purple bracts, which are leaf-like covers, peel back one by one. Beneath them, rows of tiny flowers appear. These rows become the hands of bananas. Each single banana is often called a finger. A full bunch can hold dozens or even more than 100 individual fruits, gathered in curved rows along the central stalk. The familiar bunch at the grocery store is only a cut portion of something larger. On the plant, the fruit grows in a hanging cluster, heavy and green, wrapped in shade from the enormous leaves above it. As the fruit fills out, the pseudostem has almost finished its main purpose. It lifted the leaves. It carried the flower. It held the growing bunch high enough to form. After fruiting, that main stem usually dies back. This is one of the strangest parts of the banana's life. An apple tree may fruit year after year on woody branches. A banana pseudostem gives one great effort, produces one main bunch, and then fades. Farmers often cut it down after harvest, leaving the base and the younger shoots to continue the plant's life. Those young shoots are already waiting nearby. They rise from the same underground corm or root system close to the parent stem. Some are small and narrow. Some are thicker and stronger, chosen by farmers to become the next fruiting stem. In many banana growing regions, growers manage these shoots carefully, keeping one strong follower and removing extra growth so the plant's energy is not spread too thin. This gives the banana mat a quiet rhythm. One stem fruits, another grows behind it. A smaller one waits its turn. The plant continues through replacement rather than through a permanent wooden trunk. Seen this way, a banana patch feels less like an orchard and more like a repeating cycle. The same hidden base keeps sending up tall green bodies, each one temporary, each one carrying leaves and fruit for a season. In humid fields of Uganda, India, Ecuador, the Philippines, and other banana-growing regions, this cycle can fill whole landscapes with soft green columns and wide torn leaves. The plant gives the appearance of a tree while living by the rules of something more flexible. Its strength comes from renewal. Its height comes from leaves. Its future waits below the soil. Once the plant is understood this way, the banana fruit begins to feel different too. It is no longer simply a yellow snack hanging from a branch. It is the brief harvest of a soft-stem giant, raised from a hidden corm, carried by a tower of leaves, and passed onward by new shoots already pushing into the light. The soft fruit begins to feel even stranger when it is placed beside its wild relatives. A supermarket banana peels open with almost no resistance. The flesh is pale, smooth, and easy to bite. Inside, the tiny dark specks near the center look like seeds, but they are only seed traces. They are the quiet remains of a fruit that once had a much rougher design. In many wild bananas, the inside is crowded with hard seeds. Some seeds are small like peppercorns. Others can be closer to the size of little beads. They are dark, round, and firm enough to make the fruit difficult to chew. Instead of one soft mouthful, a wild banana may contain a narrow layer of pulp wrapped around dozens of tough seeds. The experience would feel closer to working around gravel inside fruit than eating the gentle yellow banana found in a kitchen. Many wild bananas belong to species such as Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana. These plants still grow in parts of Southeast Asia, New Guinea, and nearby tropical regions. Musa acuminata help give many edible bananas their sweetness and soft flesh. Musa balbisiana helped contribute toughness, starch, and useful traits that mattered in cooking bananas and plantains. Long before grocery stores or shipping crates, these wild plants grew in warm forests where fruit had a different purpose. A fruit is part of a plant's way of moving its seeds. The sweet pulp attracts animals. The animal eats the fruit. The seeds pass through or get dropped somewhere else. A wild banana filled with hard seeds makes sense in that older system. The plant was feeding birds, bats, small mammals, and other animals in exchange for carrying its future into new patches of soil. For humans, though, those seeds were a problem. A hard-seeded banana could still be useful. People may have cooked, roasted, or processed early bananas in different ways. But the fruit did not yet have the easy softness we now expect. A modern dessert banana can be eaten with one hand while walking. A wild banana asks for attention. It makes the eater notice each seed. It reminds us that the banana began as a forest fruit shaped by survival, not convenience. The difference can be seen clearly in a cut fruit. A Cavendish banana shows a creamy center with faint dots arranged in a soft line. A wild-seeded banana may show a dense pattern of black seeds packed through the flesh. The shape may still be curved. The peel may still look banana-like. Yet the inside changes the whole meaning of the fruit. This is why the modern banana is such an unusual food. The version most people know is not the common starting point of the plant family. It is a rare form that humans noticed, protected, and repeated. Somewhere in the long history of bananas, certain plants produce fruit with more edible flesh and fewer mature seeds. These fruits would have been easier to eat. They would have been easier to cook. They would have been more useful to families tending gardens in humid lowlands and forest edges. A person who found a better banana did not need to understand chromosomes or plant genetics. They only needed to notice the difference. This one has more food inside. This one is softer. This one is worth keeping. Over many generations, that simple act of noticing became powerful. Useful banana plants were saved. Shoots were replanted. Gardens slowly filled with forms that suited human hands and human meals. The fruit changed because people kept returning to the plants that gave them the most nourishment, with the least struggle. The tiny specks in a modern banana are a reminder of that change. They sit quietly in the center of the fruit, almost invisible, where hard seeds once filled the space. A banana eaten today carries the outline of its wild past, softened by thousands of years of selection. That smoothness is easy to overlook. It feels normal because it is familiar. Yet the normal banana is already an exception. A forest fruit filled with seeds became a soft food that could be peeled in seconds. The roughness faded. The edible flesh grew more important. The plant's old method of spreading itself became less useful than the new relationship forming with people. A hard, seedy fruit had begun its long passage into one of the softest foods in the world. The soft center of a banana begins with a rare kind of fruit making. In many flowering plants, fruit forms after pollen reaches the flower and fertilizes the ovules inside. Those ovules become seeds. The fruit grows around them, creating a sweet or fleshy package that helps the plant spread. An apple holds small brown seeds in its core. A peach grows around a hard stone. A watermelon is scattered with seeds unless it has been bred to reduce them. A familiar eating banana follows a more unusual path. Many edible bananas can form fruit without normal fertilization. This process is called parthenocarpy. The word comes from Greek roots that mean virgin fruit. It simply means the fruit develops even when mature seeds do not form inside it. The banana flower still opens. The fruit still swells. The peel still thickens around the growing flesh. Inside, the hard seeds remain absent or reduced to tiny dark specks. Those little specks in a Cavendish banana are seed remnants. They show where seeds might have developed if the plant had followed a more ordinary reproductive path. This is one reason the banana feels so smooth from end to end. There is no pit to avoid. There is no core to cut around. There are no hard seeds to spit out. The entire fruit becomes easy food. That seedlessness is tied to another strange feature of many cultivated bananas. They are often sterile or nearly sterile. Sterile means the plant cannot easily make working seeds. In bananas, this often comes from having an unusual number of chromosome sets. Chromosomes are the small packages inside cells that carry genetic instructions. Humans have 2 sets of chromosomes, one from each parent. Many sweet bananas have 3 sets. This is called triploid. Tri means 3, and ploid refers to sets of chromosomes. That extra set can disturb the careful pairing needed to make normal eggs and pollen. The plant can still grow. It can still flower. It can still make fruit. Its seeds usually fail to develop into hard, living seeds that can start the next generation. For the person eating the fruit, this is a gift. For the plant living on its own, it creates a problem. A wild-seeded banana can drop seeds into soil after animals eat the fruit. A seedless banana has a quieter future. It cannot depend on a pile of seeds waiting in the forest floor. It needs another route. This is where human attention becomes part of banana biology. A person who found a soft, nearly seedless banana thousands of years ago would have found something valuable. The fruit would have been easier to feed to children. It could be cooked without sorting through hard seeds. It offered more edible flesh for the same effort of harvesting. In a humid garden near the edge of a forest, that kind of plant would have been worth protecting. Early growers did not need modern science to understand its value. They could see the difference in the hand. A cut fruit showed more pulp. A meal took less work. A plant that gave good fruit was kept close. Since these bananas did not spread well by seed, people used the plant's own hidden method of renewal. At the base of a banana plant, young shoots rise from the underground corm. These shoots are called suckers. A grower can separate one of these living shoots and plant it nearby. The new plant carries the same basic traits as the parent. If the parent made soft fruit with few seeds, the shoot could do the same. This changed the banana's path. The plant's future began to move through gardens instead of through scattered seeds. It traveled because people lifted shoots from the soil. It survived because hands replanted it after harvest. It spread because a useful plant could be copied without waiting for a seedling to grow by chance. That copying brought steadiness. A family could keep a reliable banana near the home. A village could share a strong plant with another village. Over time, whole regions could grow bananas that were easier to eat, cook, and carry. The same biology that made the fruit gentle also made it dependent. The seedless banana became tied to human care. Its soft flesh invited people closer, and its weak seed-making kept it there. A fruit that could not easily continue alone found a new way to endure, through the choices of farmers, gardeners, and travelers. The banana was becoming a shared project between plant and person. The hard seeds of the forest were fading from the story, while living shoots waited at the base of each plant, ready to be moved into the next patch of warm ground. Those living shoots carried the banana into human history. Long before bananas sat in grocery stores, they grew in warm, wet places where the air held moisture and the soil stayed rich with fallen leaves. One of the most important regions in this story is New Guinea. In the highlands of Papua New Guinea, a place called Cook Swamp has given archaeologists evidence of early farming that reaches back thousands of years. The site contains old drainage channels, planting areas, and tiny plant traces preserved in the soil. Some of those traces are called phytoliths. A phytolith is a tiny piece of silica that forms inside certain plant tissues. Silica is a hard mineral material, and after a plant decays, these small shapes can remain in the ground for a very long time. Under a microscope, phytoliths can help researchers identify what kinds of plants once grew in an ancient place. At Cook Swamp, banana phytoliths have been found in layers linked to early agriculture, showing that people were tending bananas in New Guinea many thousands of years ago. Some estimates place banana cultivation there at least 7,000 years in the past, with possible roots even older. That makes the banana part of one of the deep farming stories of the tropical world. The setting is easy to picture. Wet ground, green slopes, gardens cut into forest edges, people watching which plants came back strongly after cutting, which fruits were worth keeping, and which shoots could be moved to softer soil closer to home. Early banana growing did not begin with neat rows like a modern plantation. It likely began with careful attention. A useful plant appeared near a village, along a forest path, or beside a clearing. Its fruit had more flesh than others. Its seeds were fewer or softer. Its bunches were large enough to be worth protecting. A person could dig up a young sucker from the base and place it somewhere safer. That simple act changed the plant's future. The banana did not need to wait for a seed to fall in the right place. Its living body could be carried. The same method is still recognizable today. A farmer selects a strong sucker, often one with a narrow spear-like leaf shape. That kind of shoot can have a better connection to the underground corm and may grow into a stronger fruiting stem. The sucker is cut away with part of the base attached. Then it is planted in warm soil, where it can form roots and send up new leaves. This method allowed people to preserve the best bananas with much more control than seed planting would have offered. A seedling from a wild plant can be unpredictable. A sucker from a good plant is more dependable. In Southeast Asia, nearby islands, and later across the Pacific and Indian Ocean worlds, this kind of plant knowledge became deeply useful. Bananas could grow in humid lowlands. They could grow near houses. They could fit into mixed gardens with taro, yams, sugarcane, and coconut. Some types were eaten ripe and sweet. Others were cooked while starchy, more like a root crop. For people living in tropical regions, bananas offered food in a form that could be harvested without grinding grain or storing dry seed. The plant also gave leaves that could wrap food, line cooking pits, or serve as temporary plates. A banana garden was more than a place for fruit. It was a small system of food, shade, moisture, and daily use. This is why domestication can be seen as a quiet partnership. Domestication means that people guide the traits of a plant or animal over many generations. With bananas, that guidance often came through copying. People noticed rare useful plants, kept them alive, and shared their shoots. A neighbor could receive a piece of a good banana plant. A family could carry one to a new garden. Travelers could move planting material across short sea crossings or along inland paths. Each time this happened, the same plant line continued. The banana became a choice repeated through time. That choice made the fruit softer and more useful to people. It also tied the banana more closely to human care. A plant copied from suckers can keep its best traits for generations, yet it also keeps much of the same inner weakness. The quiet success of copying was beginning to shape the banana's strength, and the same copying would one day shape its danger. The danger began quietly, inside the same method that made bananas so useful. Through vegetative reproduction, a grower starts a new plant from living tissue taken from an older one. For bananas, that living tissue is usually a sucker growing from the base of the plant. The young shoot already carries the instructions of the parent plant inside its cells. Once planted, it can rise into the same tall leaf column, push out the same broad leaves, and produce a bunch with the same familiar traits. This is very different from growing a fruit tree from seed. A seed mixes genetic material from two parent plants. The seedling may grow taller, shorter, sweeter, tougher, weaker, or stronger than expected. A sucker gives the farmer something more predictable. If the parent plant made good fruit, the new plant has a strong chance of doing the same. That predictability mattered deeply in early gardens. A family that depended on bananas for food needed plants they could trust. A cooking banana that stayed firm over fire could be copied. A sweet banana with smooth flesh could be kept close to the house. A plant that made a heavy bunch could be shared with a neighbor. In a tropical garden, this kind of copying gave people control over a living crop that might otherwise change too much from seed to seed. Over time, the same process helped bananas become dependable across whole landscapes. A grower could walk through a field and see plants that behaved in similar ways. The bunches would fill out at a known pace. The fruit would ripen with a familiar color. The flesh would cook or soften in the way people expected. For a crop, this is powerful. Consistency means less guessing. It means a farmer can plan harvests. It means a market seller can offer fruit that customers recognize. It means a child opening a banana can expect the same soft center as yesterday. Modern banana farming took this old habit and made it much larger. On commercial farms, especially those growing dessert bananas for export, plants are often produced through suckers or through tissue culture. Tissue culture is a method where tiny pieces of plant tissue are grown in clean laboratory conditions. These small pieces can become full plants. The process allows thousands of young banana plants to be produced from a selected parent line. Rows of these plants can then be placed into prepared fields with measured spacing. On some farms, the plants stand in long green corridors, each one shaped by the same copied history. This system creates fruit that travels well through the global food chain. A Cavendish banana grown in Ecuador can look much like one grown in Costa Rica, Colombia, Guatemala, or the Philippines. The peel turns a familiar yellow. The curve fits neatly into packing boxes. The fruit can be harvested green, shipped cold, and ripened closer to stores. For shoppers, the result feels almost invisible. The banana in the display looks ordinary because the whole system is designed to make it ordinary again and again. Yet sameness has a quiet weakness. Genetic diversity is the range of differences inside a living population. In a wild forest, different plants may carry different defenses. One plant may handle a fungus better. Another may tolerate dry soil. A third may resist an insect that harms its neighbor. Variation spreads risk. A field of near-copied bananas has fewer hidden differences. When a disease finds a way into one plant, many nearby plants may share the same weak point. The crop can look strong from above, with broad leaves and heavy bunches, while carrying very little inner variety. This is the fragile side of cloning. The copied plant keeps its useful traits, and it also keeps the openings that a disease can use. A fungus in the soil does not need to solve a different puzzle at each root. It may meet the same kind of plant again and again. That is why banana history is filled with both abundance and risk. The same method that preserved soft fruit also narrowed the crop's defenses. The same copying that helped farmers trust their harvest made large plantations vulnerable. As bananas moved farther from their first tropical gardens and entered wider trade, this hidden fragility traveled with them, quietly tucked beneath the leaves. The copied banana did not stay in one garden. Once people learned that a good plant could be carried as a living shoot, the banana became easier to move than many other tropical fruits. A seedless banana could not travel well as a seed, yet a piece of the plant could travel in a bundle, a basket, or the bottom of a canoe. A sucker with part of its base attached could be replanted in damp soil and begin again. That made bananas part of human movement. They followed people through warm valleys, river edges, island chains, and coastal settlements. Their earlier story is tied closely to New Guinea and Southeast Asia, where wild Musa species grew in humid forests. Musa acuminata grew across parts of mainland and island Southeast Asia. Musa balbisiana grew farther west and north in parts of South Asia and nearby regions. When these wild forms mixed, they helped create many of the bananas and plantains people later used for food. Some were sweeter, some were starchier, some handled cooking better. Each movement of people could also move a useful plant line into a new place. Across island Southeast Asia, short sea crossings mattered. A banana shoot did not need to cross an ocean all at once. It could move from one island to another, staying alive in places with rain, shade, and warm soil. A canoe carrying people, tools, dogs, taro, yam, or coconut could also carry banana planting material. In this way, the banana became part of a larger tropical toolkit. It joined other plants that helped people settle, eat, trade, and build life in new landscapes. By the time Austronesian-speaking peoples expanded across the Pacific and Indian Ocean worlds, beginning several thousand years ago, bananas had become one of the useful plants that could travel with human communities. In the Pacific, bananas joined gardens with breadfruit, taro, sugarcane, and coconut. In South Asia, bananas became deeply rooted in daily food, religion, medicine, and household life. In India, Sanskrit texts mention bananas, and the plant became tied to ritual use as well as eating. The broad leaves were used as plates, wrappers, and offerings. In many parts of South India, a meal served on a banana leaf still carries a sense of abundance and care. The fruit moved west as well. Bananas reached parts of Africa long before the modern export trade. In East Africa and the Great Lakes region, banana cultivation became especially important. Countries such as Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi developed farming systems where bananas were central foods, not occasional treats. The East African highland bananas are a major group there. Many are cooked while green and starchy, then mashed into foods such as matoke. In these regions, banana plants could stand near homes, on hillsides, and in carefully tended groves. Their leaves caught rain. Their roots helped hold soil. Their fruit fed families through seasons when other crops were less reliable. This is one reason the banana's journey cannot be described as a simple spread of a sweet fruit. It was more like a slow branching of uses. In one place, a banana might be eaten ripe and soft. In another, it might be boiled while still green. Some types were dried. Some were roasted. Some were brewed into beer. Some were valued for fiber, leaves, shade, or animal feed. The plant kept the same general shape, with its tall pseudostem and wide leaves, but its role changed from culture to culture. Arab traders also helped move bananas through parts of the Indian Ocean and into the Middle East. By the early medieval period, bananas were known in Islamic gardens and farming regions, from the eastern tropics toward North Africa and southern Spain. Writers in the Arabic-speaking world describe the plant with interest, noting its unusual fruiting habit and lush growth. Later, European travelers encountered bananas through these warmer regions and through Atlantic island colonies. Portuguese and Spanish expansion carried bananas farther into the Atlantic world. By the late 15th and early 16th centuries, bananas were being moved to islands such as the Canary Islands, and then into the Caribbean and the American tropics. Warm lowlands in the Caribbean, Central America, and northern South America gave the plant the heat and moisture it needed. A fruit that began in the forests and gardens of Asia and Oceania had become part of a much wider tropical belt. Every movement changed the banana a little in human eyes. It could be a garden crop. It could be a travel food. It could be a cooked meal, a ritual plant, a market good, or a sign of tropical plenty. As bananas entered new soils and new kitchens, they stopped being one kind of food in the human story. Their yellow sweetness was only one path. Across the warm world, the banana family was becoming many meals, many traditions, and many meanings at once. Across those warm regions, the banana became far more than a sweet fruit eaten after ripening. For many people, bananas belong closer to the cooking pot than the fruit bowl. A yellow dessert banana is soft because much of its starch has changed into sugar. A green cooking banana holds more starch, so it behaves more like a potato, yam, or breadfruit when heated. The peel is often thicker. The flesh is firmer. The flavor is mild enough to carry salt, oil, spice, smoke, or stew. That is why the word banana can mean very different things depending on where a person is standing. In a grocery store in Canada or the United States, the banana usually means a sweet Cavendish fruit. In parts of Uganda, Rwanda, Colombia, Nigeria, Ghana, the Dominican Republic, and the Philippines, bananas and plantains can mean breakfast, dinner, street food, festival food, or daily fuel. Plantains are one important part of this wider story. They are close relatives of dessert bananas, usually starchier and larger, with a firmer texture. Many plantains stay useful while green, when the flesh is dense and pale. At that stage, they can be sliced and fried into crisp pieces. They can be boiled until tender. They can be roasted over heat until the peel darkens and the inside softens. They can be mashed into a warm meal that fills the stomach in the same quiet way as rice, cassava, or potatoes. In West Africa, plantains are often fried until golden and served with beans, stews, or spicy sauces. In Ghana, kelewele is made from ripe plantain cut into small pieces and seasoned with ginger, pepper, and other spices before frying. In Nigeria, dodo, or fried plantain, appears beside rice, eggs, beans, and meat. The fruit brings sweetness when ripe and a softer, heavier comfort when cooked. In the Caribbean, plantains became part of daily food through African, indigenous, European, and later global influences. In Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, green plantains are fried, flattened, and fried again to make tostones. In Puerto Rico, mashed fried green plantains form mofongo, often mixed with garlic and oil, then served with broth, seafood, pork, or vegetables. The same plant family that gives a child a soft lunchbox banana can also become a dense, savory meal shaped by a mortar and pestle. In East Africa, the banana's role grows even deeper. The East African highland bananas include many cooking types, especially important around the Great Lakes region. In Uganda, green bananas called matoke are peeled, wrapped in banana leaves, steamed, and mashed. The finished food is soft, pale, and filling, often served with groundnut sauce, beans, meat, or vegetable stew. For many households, matoke has carried the place of a staple crop for generations. Banana groves around homes provide food, shade, leaves, and organic matter for the soil. A grove can feel like a living pantry, with tall leaves moving in the damp air and heavy green bunches hanging above the ground. This is a very different picture from the supermarket banana display. The sweet dessert banana invites peeling and eating right away. Cooking bananas ask for fire, water, oil, and time. They connect the plant to kitchens, courtyards, roadside stalls, farm meals, and family recipes. Even the same fruit can change its role as it ripens. A green plantain can taste firm and plain when cooked. A ripe plantain can turn yellow or black on the outside and become sweet enough to caramelize in a pan. The sugars brown at the edges, giving the slices a deeper flavor. In the Philippines, Saba bananas are often cooked in syrup, fried in wrappers, added to stews, or grilled on sticks. In parts of Latin America, ripe plantains may be baked or fried until soft, while green ones become chips or mashed dishes. The banana family widened because people needed different things from it. A sweet banana offered quick food. A cooking banana offered a meal. A plantain could stand beside beans, fish, rice, meat, or sauce, and help make the plate complete. This wider banana world also explains why the fruit mattered so much before modern shipping. For local farmers, bananas could be survival food, grown near homes and harvested through much of the year. For distant buyers in colder countries, bananas would later become a bright tropical treat, carried by ships and sold as something easy, sweet, and new. Those two stories began to separate. In one story, bananas fed families close to the soil. In another, bananas moved toward markets, crates, brand names, and ocean trade. The plant had already become many foods, and soon one sweet kind would begin traveling farther than all the rest. The sweet banana that traveled farthest needed more than warm soil. It needed ships. It needed timing. It needed people who could move a soft tropical fruit across salt water before it turned brown. For most of human history, bananas were eaten close to where they grew. A ripe banana bruises easily, softens quickly, and changes day by day after it is picked. In hot weather, a yellow banana can pass from perfect sweetness to dark softness in only a short time. That made long-distance trade difficult. A fruit grown in the Caribbean or Central America could not simply be placed in a wooden crate and sent slowly toward a cold northern city. The banana had to be treated like a living clock. Farmers and traders learned to harvest the fruit while it was still green. At that stage, the flesh is firmer. The peel is tougher. The fruit can handle careful packing and travel before its sugars fully develop. A green banana is still breathing after harvest. It takes in oxygen and releases carbon dioxide, slowly using stored energy inside its cells. As it ripens, starch changes into sugar. The peel shifts from green to yellow, and the familiar aroma begins to rise. That slow change gave traders a narrow window. The fruit could be cut green in a tropical field, carried to a port, loaded into a ship, and ripened closer to the people who would buy it. In the 19th century, that window began to widen. Steamships made ocean travel faster and more predictable than sailing ships. Railways helped move fruit inland after it reached port. Ice, ventilation, and later controlled cooling helped slow ripening during the journey. Bananas can be damaged by cold if they are chilled too much. So the goal was careful temperature control, often around 13 or 14 degrees Celsius during shipping. Cool enough to slow the fruit, warm enough to avoid injury to the peel and flesh. By the late 1800s, bananas were becoming common in North American markets. Ports such as New Orleans, Boston, and New York became important entry points. In Central America and the Caribbean, companies built railways, docks, warehouses, and plantations to move bananas from inland fields to coastal ships. One major figure was miner Cooper Keith, a railroad builder connected to banana planting in Costa Rica during the late 19th century. In 1899, his business interest joined with Boston Fruit Company to form the United Fruit Company. That company became one of the most powerful forces in the banana trade. The fruit's journey became more organized with every decade. In a tropical plantation, workers cut heavy green bunches from tall plants. A full bunch could weigh 50 pounds or much more, depending on the variety and growing conditions. The bunches were carried carefully to reduce bruising. They were washed, sorted, and packed. At the port, the fruit entered a chain of movement designed around ripeness. Every delay mattered. A storm, a slow train, a crowded dock, or a warm ship hold could change the condition of the cargo. The banana's softness shaped the whole business around it. Plantations also changed the land. Instead of small mixed gardens with many crops growing together, export bananas were often planted in large fields of one chosen type. Rows of banana plants spread across lowland areas with warm rain, rich soil, and access to transport. The plants needed steady moisture, good drainage, and protection from wind that could shred leaves or knock down stems. For distant buyers, the result looked simple. A clean yellow fruit appeared in a store far from the tropics. For growers, shippers, and workers, that fruit carried the effort of an entire system. Cutting, washing, packing, cooling, shipping, ripening, selling. Each step had to meet the banana at the right stage of its changing life. This is what turned bananas into a global business. The fruit was no longer only part of local farms and home gardens. It became a product shaped by shipping schedules, company land, port cities, and consumer habits. People in colder countries began to expect bananas year-round, even though the plant itself belonged to humid tropical regions. That expectation created pressure for sameness. Markets wanted a banana that could be harvested green, survive a long trip, ripen evenly, look appealing, and taste familiar. A small local variety might be delicious in one village, yet too fragile for crates and ships. A stronger export banana could travel through the whole system and still arrive with a smooth peel and dependable flavor. The global banana trade began to favor one kind of fruit above the rest. To feed distant markets again and again, companies needed a banana that acted almost like a standard product. One variety would soon rise above the others, thick-skinned, sweet, and steady enough to rule the early banana world. That standard fruit found its early champion in a banana called Gros Michel. The name is French and is often translated as Big Mike. For decades, Gros Michel was the great export banana of the Atlantic trade. Long before the Cavendish filled modern supermarket shelves, Gros Michel was the banana many buyers in North America and Europe expected to see. It grew in large plantations across parts of Central America and the Caribbean. Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, Guatemala, Jamaica, and other warm-growing regions became tied to its rise. The plant produced large bunches with fruit that looked strong, curved, and familiar. Its peel was thicker than the peel of many modern dessert bananas. That mattered a great deal. A banana meant for export had to survive cutting, carrying, washing, packing, and ocean travel. The fruit was harvested green, while the flesh was still firm, and the peel could better protect it. Then it moved by rail, from inland fields to coastal ports. From there, refrigerated ships carried it north across the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, or the Atlantic. A thin-skinned banana could bruise too easily during that journey. Gros Michel handled the trip well. Its thick peel worked like a soft natural shield, protecting the creamy fruit inside from rough movement and pressure. For companies building a global banana trade, this was an ideal trait. A fruit could leave a humid field still green and arrive days later ready to ripen near a market. When it reached stores, the peel turned yellow, and the fruit became sweet, fragrant, and easy to eat. Many people who remember Gros Michel describe it as richer and more aromatic than the Cavendish. Some say its flavor was stronger, with a deeper sweetness and a fuller banana scent. Memory can make old foods feel brighter than they were. But Gros Michel truly had a reputation for excellent taste. It was also useful because it ripened in a way sellers could manage. Ripening rooms became part of the banana system. Green fruit could be held under controlled conditions until it reached the right color for sale. This allowed stores to offer bananas that looked fresh and inviting, even though they had been cut far away in the tropics. By the early 20th century, Gros Michel had become deeply connected to the power of large fruit companies. The United Fruit Company and other firms shaped railways, ports, steamship routes, and plantation towns around the banana trade. In some regions, banana exports influenced politics, labor, land ownership, and national economies. The fruit looked gentle in a store display, yet behind it stood a large and complicated machine of land and transport. Gros Michel suited that machine better than almost any other banana available at the time. Its bunches were heavy, its fruit packed well, its flavor pleased buyers, its thick peel reduced loss during shipment. Those qualities made it feel dependable. A grower could plant large areas with the same variety. A company could train workers and build systems around one kind of fruit. A shipper could design schedules around the way it ripened. A customer could buy bananas week after week and receive the same experience. This kind of sameness helped Gros Michel rule the export market. It also made the fields quieter in a dangerous way. Across plantation after plantation, the same banana grew in long rows. The plants looked lush under the tropical sun, their leaves spreading wide above the soil. Bunches hung green and heavy beneath the shade. From a distance, it could look like abundance without end. Yet each copied plant carried a similar body, similar roots, and similar weaknesses. The old habit of preserving a useful banana by copying it had expanded into an enormous commercial pattern. What worked in a family garden now covered wide lowlands. The very traits that made Gros Michel valuable encouraged growers to plant it again and again. In the warm soil beneath those fields, a fungus was beginning to matter more than flavor, peel thickness, or shipping strength. A nearly perfect commercial banana had filled the trade routes, and its success had prepared a path for something small, hidden, and patient underground. Beneath those green rows, the danger moved without sound. Panama disease is caused by a soil fungus called Fusarium oxysporum F. Espol cubensi. That long name describes a very specific kind of fungus adapted to banana plants. It does its work underground, where the roots reach through warm, damp soil for water and minerals. A healthy banana plant depends on tiny root hairs to draw moisture upward. That water moves through tubes inside the plant, called xylem. Xylem is the plant's water-moving tissue, a little like a system of drinking straws running from root to leaf. The fungus enters through the roots. Once inside, it grows into the water-carrying tissue and begins to block the flow. The first signs can look gentle from a distance. Lower leaves turn yellow at the edges. Then they wilt. Their green color fades into brown, and the leaves may hang down around the pseudostem, like tired fabric. Inside the plant, the damage is more direct. If a sick banana stem is cut open, the inner tissue can show reddish-brown streaks where the fungus has moved through the vascular system. Vascular simply means the plant's transport network, the part that carries water and nutrients. As those channels clog, the tall herb can no longer move enough water to its wide leaves. A banana plant has enormous leaf surfaces, sometimes several feet long, and those leaves lose water in the heat. When the roots and xylem cannot keep up, the whole plant begins to fail. The strange part is how patient the disease can be. The fungus can form tough resting spores called chlamydospores. These are thick-walled survival cells that can remain in soil for many years. They wait through dry periods, empty fields, and crop changes. A farm may remove sick banana plants, clear the rows, and try again. Yet the fungus can remain below the surface. Soil stuck to boots, tools, wheels, irrigation water, or planting material can carry it from one place to another. A small amount of infected dirt can matter. This made Panama disease especially difficult for large plantations. The disease was noticed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as it spread through banana-growing regions. It became strongly associated with Panama because plantations there suffered severe losses, giving the disease its common name. Over time, it damaged huge areas planted with Gros Michel across Central America and the Caribbean. The fungus did not need to move quickly like a storm. It could spread farm by farm, field by field, following soil, water, and human movement. Once a plantation was heavily infected, growing Gros Michel there became extremely hard. The plants might look healthy at first, rising with their broad leaves and pale green stems. Then the yellowing would begin. The bunches would shrink or fail. Rows that once promised export fruit became rows of weakening plants. For companies built around one dependable banana, this was a deep problem. Gros Michel had been chosen for shipping strength, flavor, and consistency. Those strengths meant growers had planted it across wide areas. The same copied nature that made the fruit reliable also gave the fungus a repeated target. Each plant was similar enough that the disease could use the same weakness again and again. A mixed forest gives a pathogen many different bodies to face. A plantation of copied bananas gives it a much smoother path. By the mid-20th century, Panama disease had changed the banana business. Fields were abandoned in some regions. New land was cleared in others. Railways, packing stations, and port routes had to adjust as infected farms lost their value. The damage was economic, but it was also physical and visible. Tall leaves yellowing under the sun, cut stems stained inside, green bunches never reaching the ships. The old export banana, once so steady, could no longer be trusted in many infected soils. The industry searched for another fruit that could pass through the same long chain of cutting, packing, cooling, shipping, ripening, and selling. A replacement banana was waiting, one that could resist the form of the disease that had ruined Gros Michel. It would rescue the trade for a time. Yet it would also carry forward the deeper habit of sameness, the quiet risk built into a crop made from copies. The replacement banana was already known before the old export world fully collapsed. It belonged to a group called Cavendish. The name traces back to William Cavendish, the 6th Duke of Devonshire, whose estate at Chatsworth House in England grew an important early Cavendish plant in the 1800s. A gardener named Joseph Paxton helped cultivate it there, far from the tropical fields where bananas naturally thrive. From that quiet greenhouse history, the Cavendish would later become one of the most important fruits on Earth. Its great advantage was resistance to the strain of Panama disease that had damaged Gros Michel. That earlier strain is often called Race 1. Race 1 could move through Gros Michel roots and block the plant's water-carrying tissue. Cavendish plants could usually withstand that strain much better. For banana companies facing infected soils and failing plantations, this mattered more than almost anything else. A fruit could have wonderful flavor, thick peel, and loyal buyers. Without disease resistance, it could no longer support the export trade. The Cavendish gave the industry a way to keep shipping bananas. It grew well enough in tropical plantation systems. It produced large bunches. It could be harvested green and ripened later in controlled rooms. The fruit turned bright yellow in a way shoppers found familiar and appealing. By the 1950s and 1960s, the shift from Gros Michel to Cavendish was well underway in many export markets. This change required real adjustment. Gros Michel had been tougher during transport. Its thicker peel made it easier to handle in older shipping systems. Cavendish fruit was more delicate. Companies had to improve boxing, cooling, handling, and ripening methods so the new banana could survive the journey from tropical farms to distant stores. Cardboard boxes, better packing systems, and more careful temperature control helped make the transition possible. The banana in a modern supermarket is shaped by that change. A Cavendish is usually picked green while still firm. It is washed and packed near the growing region. It travels in cooled containers or ship holds, often kept around 13 or 14 degrees Celsius, to slow ripening. Later, in ripening rooms closer to market, the fruit may be exposed to ethylene gas. Ethylene is a natural plant hormone that helps trigger ripening. Under careful control, green bananas become yellow bananas within days. This process allows stores to receive fruit that looks fresh, even after a long trip across land and sea. Cavendish succeeded because it fit that chain. Field, packing house, refrigerated transport, ripening room, store shelf. Each stage could be adjusted around the fruit. The flavor may have been milder than Gros Michel. The peel may have been less rugged. Its place in history came from practical survival. It kept the banana business alive when the older system could no longer rely on its favorite fruit. For many people born after the change, Cavendish simply became the banana. Its shape, color, and taste became the standard. Children learned the soft snap of its peel. Lunchboxes carried it. Smoothies used it. Grocery displays stacked it in curved yellow rows. The older Gros Michel faded into memory. Specialty collections, and scattered places where it could still be grown away from infected soils. A rescue can become invisible when it lasts long enough. The Cavendish did not look like an emergency solution to most shoppers. It looked ordinary. That ordinariness was part of its success. Millions of people could buy bananas without knowing that the fruit had replaced another banana lost to disease. Behind the simple yellow peel was a whole industrial adaptation. Farmers changed varieties. Companies changed shipping. Consumers changed without being asked to notice. Yet the deeper pattern remained. The world had moved from one dominant export banana into another dominant export banana. Large farms still depended on plants that were very similar to one another. Shoots and tissue culture still copied the same useful traits across wide areas. The Cavendish resisted the old strain of Panama disease, and that resistance brought decades of stability. Its success also gathered much of the export trade around a narrow genetic base. For a long time, that narrowness stayed quiet. The fruit arrived, the shelves filled, the yellow bunches looked dependable. Somewhere inside that dependability, the old lesson from Gros Michel was waiting to return in a new form. That old lesson sits quietly in the modern fruit aisle. A shopper sees separate bananas resting in separate bunches. Each one has its own small marks on the peel. Some are greener near the stem. Others carry brown freckles from ripening. A few curve more sharply than the rest. Even with those surface differences, most supermarket Cavendish bananas come from plants that are extremely similar inside. They are usually copied from other banana plants rather than grown from seeds. A Cavendish banana is commonly a triploid banana, meaning its cells carry 3 sets of chromosomes. That unusual chromosome number helps explain why the fruit is seedless and easy to eat. It also makes normal seed production difficult. A grower cannot simply collect seeds from a good Cavendish fruit and plant them for the next crop. The tiny dark flecks in the center of the fruit are traces of seed development, rather than hard, mature seeds ready to grow. The future of the crop has to move through living plant tissue. Traditionally, farmers use suckers from the base of the plant. In modern commercial farming, many young plants also begin through tissue culture. In tissue culture, a small piece of banana plant is placed in a sterile container with nutrients and plant hormones. From that tiny piece, many young plants can be produced under controlled conditions. Rows of small banana plantlets may begin in a laboratory, then move to nurseries, then finally to warm fields. This method helps farms start with clean, even planting material. It also spreads the same chosen traits across many acres. For the banana industry, this sameness is useful. A farm can plant thousands of Cavendish plants that grow in similar ways. The fruit fills out with a predictable shape. The bunches can be harvested while green at a planned stage. Packing houses can sort the hands into boxes that meet the size and quality standards of export markets. A standard banana export box often holds about 18 kilograms of fruit. That fruit may travel by truck, ship, train, and truck again before reaching a store. Because the bananas behave in similar ways, the system can handle them with remarkable precision. Ripening rooms depend on this regularity. Green Cavendish bananas are placed in rooms where temperature, humidity, airflow, and ethylene are controlled. Ethylene is a natural gas made by plants that helps ripening begin. With careful timing, boxes of firm green bananas can become bright yellow fruit ready for sale. This is why bananas in distant cities can look so steady from week to week. A bunch bought in Toronto, Chicago, London, or Berlin may have been grown thousands of miles away, yet it still feels familiar in the hand. The peel opens the same way. The flesh has the same soft texture. The flavor stays mild and sweet. This reliable experience is part of what made Cavendish bananas one of the most common fruits in the world. For shoppers, consistency feels comforting. For stores, consistency reduces waste. For shippers, consistency makes timing easier. For farms, consistency allows large fields to be managed as one crop with one expected result. The hidden cost sits inside the same pattern. Genetic similarity means the plants share many of the same defenses and weaknesses. A disease that learns how to attack one Cavendish plant may find many nearby plants prepared in the same vulnerable way. This risk grows stronger in large fields where the same variety stands row after row. The leaves may look lush. The bunches may hang heavy and green. The whole plantation may seem healthy from the edge of a road. Under the surface, the crop has fewer different answers to the same threat. Wild plants usually carry more variety. One plant may resist a fungus better than another. Some may tolerate wetter soil, drier weather, or local pests. A clone crop has less of that natural spread. Its strength comes from being dependable for humans. Its weakness comes from being familiar to disease. This is the quiet tension inside the supermarket banana. The fruit became popular because it could be copied, shipped, ripened, and sold with steady results. That same steady design gathers risk into the roots. The Cavendish filled the space left by grower Michel and made bananas feel normal again for decades. Yet the old warning never disappeared. A crop made from copies can look calm and abundant while waiting for a disease able to recognize the pattern. The disease that recognized the pattern has a quiet name with a heavy meaning. Tropical race 4. Many researchers shorten it to TR4. It is a strain of the same Panama disease fungus that damaged Gros Michel. But this form can attack Cavendish bananas too. The full fungus name is Fusarium oxysporum F. SP cubense. That name sounds complex, yet the basic action is simple to picture. The fungus waits in soil. A banana root grows through that soil. The fungus enters the root and moves inward, reaching the plant's water-carrying channels. Those channels, called xylem, are supposed to lift water from the ground into the tall pseudostem and the wide leaves above. When TR4 spreads through them, the channels begin to clog. A plant with leaves as large as blankets needs a steady upward pull of water. Without it, the leaves yellow, fold, and droop. The fruit may fail to fill properly. The whole plant can slowly collapse while the fungus remains hidden below. TR4 was first recognized as a serious problem in parts of Asia, with major reports from Taiwan in the late 20th century. From there, it spread into other banana-growing areas of Southeast Asia. Later, it appeared in Australia, the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. Its arrival in Colombia in 2019 was especially important because Latin America supplies a large share of export bananas to North America and Europe. Peru confirmed the disease in 2021, adding more concern for farms along the western side of South America. Each new detection matters because Cavendish bananas are planted so widely. A single infected farm does not mean every banana disappears. The danger grows from the nature of soil, water, tools and movement. TR4 can travel in infected planting material. It can cling to soil on boots, tires, shovels, machinery, or animal feet. Irrigation water and flood water can move contaminated particles from one area to another. Once the fungus becomes established in a field, removing it is extremely difficult. Its resting spores can survive in soil for many years, even when banana plants are gone. A field can look empty above ground, while the problem waits below, sealed inside tiny survival cells. That patience makes TR4 different from many crop problems that can be sprayed away or solved with one season of cleanup. Farmers may dig drainage channels, clean equipment, limit visitors, test plants, and destroy infected areas. These steps can slow spread. They can protect nearby fields. They can buy time. Yet the fungus is hard to erase from soil once it has settled in. This is why some farms use strict biosecurity. Biosecurity means practical steps that keep a disease from entering or leaving a place. A worker may wash boots before entering a field. A truck may pass through a cleaning station. Planting material may be tested before moving. Paths may be controlled so soil from one farm does not quietly ride to another. The work can seem humble, almost too ordinary for such a large problem. A brush scrubbing dirt from a boot. A gate closing beside a plantation road. A wet tire track being watched carefully after rain. These small details matter because TR4 travels through contact with the ground. The old Cavendish rescue depended on resistance to an earlier strain of Panama disease. TR4 changed the meaning of that safety. The familiar supermarket banana could still be grown in many places, but the crop no longer looked protected in the same way. Its yellow sameness began to feel more delicate. Across large farms, plant after plant shared the same useful fruit traits and many of the same disease risks. The world had seen this kind of story before with Gros Michel. A beloved banana fills the trade. A soil fungus finds its opening. The industry searches for time, distance, cleaner practices, and stronger plants. The difference now is that the Cavendish is deeply woven into modern food systems. It fills lunch bags, breakfast tables, smoothie shops, school cafeterias, and grocery carts across countries far from the tropics. Most shoppers never see the soil where the risk begins. They see a bright peel and a soft fruit. On the farm, the danger starts in roots no wider than threads. Saving the banana means working with that hidden place. It means understanding fungus, soil, water, plant tissue, and the weakness created by too much sameness. Planting ordinary seeds will not easily solve the problem, because the Cavendish does not make useful seeds in the way many crops do. The fruit's own seedless biology, once so helpful to the eater, makes the search for a new banana slower and more difficult. The search for a stronger banana begins with a strange problem. The fruit people love is difficult to breed. A farmer working with corn, beans, wheat, apples, or tomatoes can often begin with seeds. Seeds allow different parent plants to mix their traits. One plant may bring better flavor. Another may carry disease resistance. A breeder can cross them, grow many seedlings, and choose the few that perform best. Bananas make that process much slower. Many sweet edible bananas, including Cavendish, are nearly sterile. Their cells often carry 3 sets of chromosomes. That triploid condition helped give them soft, seedless fruit. Yet it also makes normal reproduction difficult. When a plant tries to make pollen or egg cells, its chromosomes need to divide neatly. In a triploid banana, the extra set can make that division uneven. The result is weak pollen, poor seed formation, or fruit with no useful seeds at all. This is wonderful for eating. It is frustrating for breeding. A Cavendish banana cannot easily provide a neat pile of seeds for scientists to plant in rows. The small dark flecks inside the fruit show where seeds might have formed. Most never become hard-living seeds. A breeder who wants to improve Cavendish has to work around that silence in the center of the fruit. Some banana breeding programs use rare fertile plants. Even a mostly sterile banana may sometimes produce a few seeds under the right conditions. Researchers may hand-pollinate flowers, placing pollen onto the female flowers by careful touch. Then they wait for fruit to develop. Inside those fruits, they may search through pulp for rare seeds that form successfully. A single useful seed can matter. It may carry a mix of traits that gives scientists something new to grow, test, and study. The work takes patience because banana plants grow slowly compared with many field crops. A new plant may need many months before it produces a bunch. Then the fruit has to be judged for texture, sweetness, cooking quality, disease response, and how well it handles harvest. A banana can resist disease and still fail as a commercial fruit. It may ripen too unevenly. It may bruise too easily. It may taste too starchy for people expecting a sweet dessert banana. It may have a peel that splits during transport. A useful replacement has to survive the farm and satisfy the eater. Wild banana relatives help because they still carry the variety that commercial bananas lost. Species such as Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana contain many forms shaped by forests, insects, fungi, dry spells, heavy rain, and local soils. Some wild bananas have traits that may help them resist disease. Others may handle rougher growing conditions better than Cavendish. Their fruit can also be filled with hard seeds, bitter flavors, or textures that would feel strange on a breakfast table. This makes wild bananas valuable and difficult at the same time. They carry useful survival tools, yet those tools are wrapped inside fruits that often look nothing like supermarket bananas. Scientists may also use tissue culture. In a lab, tiny pieces of banana tissue can be grown into clean young plants. This helps produce planting material for farms, and it also allows researchers to test new lines under controlled conditions. Rows of small green plantlets may begin in clear containers before moving into nurseries and fields. That quiet lab work connects directly to the soil, where diseases like tropical race 4 wait. Genetic tools add another path. Some researchers study the banana genome, which is the full set of instructions inside the plant. By comparing resistant and vulnerable bananas, they can look for genes linked to disease defense. A gene is a short piece of biological instruction that helps shape a trait. With modern tools, scientists can sometimes add or adjust a gene that may help a plant resist infection. This approach still has to pass through testing, regulation, farming needs, and public trust. A banana is judged in the lab, in the field, in the shipping box, and in the hand of the person who peels it. That is what makes the future banana such a careful puzzle. It has to hold the softness people know. It has to ripen into a familiar color. It has to move through farms and ports without falling apart. It has to stand in soil where old diseases have learned to wait. The answer may come from a rare seed, a wild relative, a lab-grown plant, or several methods working together. Somewhere in the rougher past of the banana family, traits may still exist that can protect the fruit people now expect. The modern banana may have to reach backward into its wild history to find the strength to keep going. The strength the banana needs may still be growing in forests. Wild banana plants have continued their own lives outside the narrow path of the supermarket fruit. They grow in parts of Southeast Asia, New Guinea, Northern Australia, India, and nearby tropical regions, where heat, rain, insects, fungi, and soil have shaped them over long stretches of time. Many belong to the genus Musa, the same group that gave rise to cultivated bananas. Their leaves can still rise broad and green. Their flowers can still hang beneath purple bracts. Their fruits can still curve in small hands along a stalk. Yet inside, many wild bananas carry a very different kind of inheritance. A wild banana may be filled with hard seeds. Its flesh may be thin, dry, fibrous, or less sweet than the fruit people expect. Some types would feel disappointing on a grocery shelf because the modern buyer expects softness, easy peeling, and a smooth bite. A wild fruit follows the older needs of the plant. Its job is to feed animals just enough to move seeds into new ground. The seedless dessert banana follows a path shaped by human use, where the edible flesh matters more than the plant's ability to scatter its own future. That difference makes wild bananas difficult and valuable at the same time. Commercial bananas often carry very little genetic variety. Genetic variety means differences in the instructions inside living cells. In a wild population, those differences can be spread across many plants. One plant may handle a dry month better. A nearby plant may resist a fungus in the soil. Another may survive insect feeding with less damage to its leaves or roots. Across a forested hillside or a wet valley, this variety acts like a quiet storehouse of possible answers. No single plant has to solve every problem. The population holds many small solutions at once. Commercial Cavendish bananas have a much narrower storehouse. They were chosen for traits people could use: seedless fruit, steady ripening, good appearance, and reliable shipping. Those traits made the banana useful around the world. They also left behind many rougher traits that wild plants still carry. For scientists, those wild traits are precious. A seeded fruit that no shopper would buy may contain a gene that helps defend against a fungus. A small, tough banana from a humid forest may carry useful resistance to pests. A plant growing in a drier place may hold clues for coping with heat or irregular rainfall. This matters more as growing conditions change. Banana farms depend on warmth and water. Yet too much water can spread disease and too little can slow growth. Rising temperatures can also change where pests and fungi survive. A stronger future banana may need protection from more than one threat. Wild relatives can help breeders search for that protection. The work often begins in collections that preserve banana diversity. One of the most important international banana collections is held in Belgium, where living banana tissue is stored and shared for research. Other collections and field gene banks exist in tropical countries where the plants can grow outdoors. A gene bank is a place that preserves living diversity, like a library made of plants instead of books. In a banana gene bank, each plant line can hold a different piece of the larger banana story. Researchers may study leaf shape, disease response, flowering, fruit texture, root growth, and the way the plant handles stress. The challenge is bringing useful wild traits into a banana. People can actually grow and eat. A wild relative might resist disease while producing fruit full of seeds. A resistant plant might grow poorly in a plantation system. A useful parent might pass along a rough texture or unfamiliar flavor. Breeding has to keep the survival trait, while reducing the traits that make the fruit hard to use. This is slow work. A new banana line has to grow for months before it can be judged. Its fruit has to be tested for taste, ripening, cooking quality, and shipping strength. Its roots have to be watched in disease pressure. Its leaves have to stand through field conditions. A banana that succeeds in a lab still has to succeed under rain, heat, insects, workers' hands, packing boxes, and store shelves. The wild banana, with its hard seeds and uneven fruit, begins to look less like a leftover from the past. It becomes a reservoir of forgotten strength. The soft modern banana may need to borrow from the rougher plants it left behind. That creates a quiet circle in the story. The fruit became gentle through human selection, and now its future may depend on the wildness that selection once pushed away. The wild strength of bananas may wait in forests, but the familiar sweetness appears much closer to home. It appears quietly on a counter. A green banana brought into a kitchen is still alive in a simple plant sense. After harvest, it keeps breathing through tiny openings in its peel. It takes in oxygen, releases carbon dioxide, and slowly uses the stored material inside its flesh. This is why bananas can be picked green in tropical farms and still ripen days or weeks later. The fruit does not need to stay attached to the plant for every part of its change. A banana belongs to a group of fruits called climacteric fruits. That means it can keep ripening after harvest with the help of a natural plant gas called ethylene. Apples, tomatoes, mangoes, and avocados also behave this way. Ethylene acts like a ripening signal. It moves through the fruit and helps many changes happen together. In a green banana, much of the flesh is starch. Starch is a storage form of carbohydrate, made from long chains of sugar units. When a banana is still green, that starch makes the fruit firmer and less sweet. This is why green bananas and plantains can be cooked more like potatoes. As ripening continues, enzymes begin breaking starch into smaller sugars. Enzymes are tiny biological tools that speed up chemical changes. In a ripening banana, they help turn stored starch into sugars such as glucose, fructose, and sucrose. The texture softens. The taste grows sweeter. The fruit that once felt firm and plain becomes gentle enough to mash with a fork. The peel changes too. A green peel gets its color from chlorophyll, the same pigment that makes leaves green. During ripening, chlorophyll breaks down. Yellow pigments that were hidden beneath become easier to see. The banana slowly shifts from green to yellow, often beginning at the edges and along the ridges. Later, small brown spots appear as the peel ages, and the fruit becomes sweeter and softer inside. Those spots can look like damage, yet they often mark a normal stage of ripeness. A spotted banana may have a stronger aroma and a sweeter taste than a pale yellow one. The smell is part of the same process. As banana cells change, they produce aroma compounds called esters. Esters are chemicals that often smell fruity. One important banana-like aroma compound is isoamyl acetate. It has the strong sweet scent many people connect with bananas, candies, and old-fashioned banana flavoring. A ripe banana releases these scent molecules into the air. Even before peeling it, the fruit can announce itself from a bowl across the room. This is also why bananas can affect fruit nearby. A ripe banana gives off ethylene. Other climacteric fruits can sense that ethylene and begin ripening faster. Place a green avocado in a paper bag with a ripe banana, and the trapped ethylene can help the avocado soften sooner. The paper bag matters because it holds the gas close to the fruit, while still allowing some air movement. A plastic bag can trap too much moisture and encourage spoilage. The same principle is used on a larger scale in commercial ripening rooms. Green bananas arrive after cold transport. Workers place boxes in controlled rooms where temperature, humidity, airflow, and ethylene levels are managed. Within several days, the fruit moves toward the yellow stage stores want. The process is precise because timing matters. A banana that ripens too early may soften before it reaches the shelf. A banana held too green may disappoint the buyer who wants breakfast ready by morning. Inside the fruit, these changes continue at a pace the eye can follow. One day, the peel is firm and green at the stem. A little later, the yellow spreads. Then freckles appear, and the fruit grows softer under gentle pressure. On the counter, a banana is a small visible clock. Its color records chemistry. Its scent records ripeness. Its softness records the slow breaking of starch into sugar. The fruit seems still because it moves without sound. Inside the peel, stored energy is being rearranged into sweetness, and the simple banana in the bowl is quietly becoming easier to taste. A banana's sweetness becomes easier to see as the peel begins to mark itself. The smooth yellow skin may gather small brown freckles near the middle. A darker patch may appear where the fruit rested against a bowl. A soft place may form after a banana is dropped into a bag or pressed beneath heavier groceries. These marks can look simple, yet they are signs of cells changing inside the peel and flesh. A banana is made of tiny cells, each one surrounded by a thin wall and filled with water, sugars, starches, acids, and plant chemicals. While the cells stay whole, many of those substances remain separated. A bruise breaks that order. Pressure crushes some cells. The membranes inside them tear. Chemicals that were held apart begin to mix. One important reaction involves enzymes called polyphenol oxidases. An enzyme is a small biological tool that helps a chemical change happen faster. Polyphenol oxidase works on plant compounds called phenols. When bruising lets oxygen reach those compounds, the enzyme helps form darker brown materials. The same general browning process happens in sliced apples, pears, avocados, and potatoes. Cut an apple and leave it on a plate, and the pale surface slowly darkens. Press a banana too hard, and the same kind of chemistry begins beneath the peel. The color change is visible because damaged cells are no longer keeping the fruit's inner chemistry neatly separated. The peel has its own story. As a banana ripens, the green chlorophyll breaks down and the yellow color becomes stronger. Later, brown spots appear as the peel ages and its tissues weaken. These spots often mean the banana has become sweeter because starch inside the fruit has continued turning into sugar. A yellow banana with brown freckles may taste much sweeter than one that is still green at the tips. The flesh may also feel softer because enzymes have been loosening the structure of the cell walls. Cell walls are the firm outer supports around plant cells. As they soften, the banana loses its starchy firmness and becomes creamy. This is why bakers often wait for heavily spotted bananas before making banana bread. A very ripe banana mashes easily. Its sugars are more developed. Its aroma is stronger because more fruity scent compounds have formed. The peel may look past its prettiest stage, while the inside has become especially useful for baking. A brown spotted banana is often at its sweetest before true spoilage begins. Spoilage has different signs. A banana that smells fermented, leaks liquid, grows mold, or has flesh that turns unpleasantly slimy has moved beyond normal ripening. Brown specks on the peel alone usually tell a gentler story. They show that ripening has continued. They show that the fruit has softened. They show that the starch inside has been changing into simpler sugars. The peel becomes a visible map of time, pressure, and chemistry. A green peel suggests firmer starch. A clean yellow peel suggests balanced ripeness. A freckled peel suggests deeper sweetness. A dark bruise points to a place where cells were crushed. The outside records the quiet events happening beneath it. Even the way bananas are handled before reaching a kitchen can leave marks. During harvest, workers cut heavy green bunches from the plant. Those bunches are carried, washed, divided into smaller hands, packed into boxes, and moved through cool transport. A single hard bump can become visible later, after ripening brings the bruise to the surface. The banana may remember a moment of pressure long after the moment has passed. This helps explain why bananas are packed and shipped with such care. Their softness is part of their appeal, yet that same softness makes them easy to mark. At home, the process continues in small, ordinary ways. A banana resting against the edge of a bowl may darken there first. A bunch left in a warm room may ripen faster than one kept in a cooler spot. Fruit placed near a ripe apple or banana may soften sooner because ethylene builds in the air around it. The changes are slow enough to feel peaceful, yet clear enough to watch from day to day. The spotted banana on the counter is not a ruined thing at first glance. It is a small record of ripening. Its peel has been writing down changes in color, texture, oxygen, pressure, and sugar. Inside that soft fruit, plant chemistry has made food easier for the body to use, and the next part of the journey begins after the first quiet bite. After the first quiet bite, the banana continues its work inside the body. A medium banana, about 7 to 8 inches long, usually weighs a little over 100 grams without its peel. Inside that soft fruit are roughly 100 calories, most of them from carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the body's easiest fuel to break down. During digestion, banana starches and sugars are taken apart into smaller sugar molecules, then carried through the blood to cells that can use them for energy. This is part of why bananas became such practical food. They are sweet enough to give quick energy, yet gentle enough to eat without cooking. A banana also contains fiber, usually around 3 grams in a medium fruit. Fiber is the part of plant food that the human body does not fully digest. It slows the movement of food through the digestive system and can help the fruit feel more filling than a very watery snack. A green banana has more resistant starch. Resistant starch acts more like fiber because it resists digestion in the small intestine. As the banana ripens, much of that starch changes into sugar, so the texture becomes softer and the taste becomes sweeter. This gives the banana a useful range. A greener banana feels firmer and less sweet. A spotted banana tastes softer and more developed. The same fruit can offer slightly different fuel depending on its stage of ripeness. Bananas are also known for potassium. Potassium is a mineral that helps nerves send signals and helps muscles contract. A medium banana often contains around 400 milligrams of potassium. That is a meaningful amount, even though it is only one part of what the body needs in a day. The fruit also provides small amounts of vitamin B6, vitamin C, magnesium, and manganese. Vitamin B6 helps the body process proteins and make important brain chemicals. Magnesium supports normal muscle and nerve function. Manganese helps with enzyme activity, which means it supports tiny chemical reactions that keep cells working. These nutrients do not make the banana magical. They make it useful in a simple, steady way. Its value comes from the whole package. Soft flesh, easy energy, fiber, minerals, a peel that works like natural wrapping. That peel may be one of the banana's most important human advantages. Many fruits need washing, slicing, or a container. A banana carries its own cover. The peel protects the fruit from dust and handling. It opens with the fingers. It leaves no core, pit, or hard seeds behind. This made bananas easy to place in lunch bags, hiking packs, school cafeterias, train stations, airport kiosks, and convenience stores. The same features also made them useful for athletes. A runner can eat a banana before a race without needing a plate. A cyclist can carry one in a jersey pocket. A tennis player can take a few bites during a break. The fruit gives carbohydrate energy in a form that is familiar, soft, and usually easy on the stomach. For many people, a banana feels more filling than berries, grapes, or melon because it has less water and more starch. A watermelon slice may feel refreshing and light. A banana sits more heavily and steadily. Its flesh has body. Its texture asks for slow chewing. Its fiber and starch help it stay with the eater longer than a fruit made mostly of juice. This helps explain why bananas became morning food in so many places. They fit beside oats, cereal, toast, yogurt, and peanut butter. They can be mashed into pancakes, blended into smoothies, sliced over porridge, or eaten alone while standing at a counter. Their flavor is strong enough to notice, yet mild enough to combine with many foods. A ripe banana can sweeten a recipe without needing much added sugar. A frozen banana can make a smoothie feel creamy, A very ripe banana can hold moisture in banana bread, turning dark spotted fruit into something warm and fragrant from the oven. The banana's biology made it soft. Human habit made it portable. Its nutrients made it useful. Its shape made it recognizable almost anywhere. Over time, this easy fuel became tied to school lunches, road trips, race mornings, hospital trays, baby food, and breakfast tables. A fruit that could be carried, peeled, eaten, and digested with little effort naturally became more than a crop. It became an object people expected to see in daily life, and that daily presence helped turn the banana into a symbol as much as a meal. The banana's daily presence helped create one of its most famous images: a monkey holding a banana. The picture feels so familiar that it can seem ancient, almost like a basic rule of nature. In cartoons, toys, children's books, zoo signs, and old comedy scenes, the banana often appears beside a grinning monkey with quick hands and bright eyes. Yet the real feeding lives of monkeys and apes are much wider than that simple image. A monkey is a primate with a tail in most cases. An ape, such as a chimpanzee, gorilla, orangutan, or gibbon, has no tail. People often mix the words together in casual speech, so the banana image gets attached to many different primates at once. In the wild, these animals eat many kinds of food, depending on species, season, and habitat. A capuchin monkey in Central or South America may eat fruit, seeds, flowers, insects, small eggs, and hard nuts it cracks with skill. A howler monkey eats many leaves because its digestive system can handle a leafy diet better than many other primates. A spider monkey often searches for ripe fruit high in the forest canopy, moving through branches with long arms and a gripping tail. Chimpanzees eat figs, young leaves, seeds, stems, termites, honey, and sometimes other animal foods. Gorillas are often linked with leaves, stems, bark, and shoots, though some groups eat fruit when it is available. The wild diet changes with rain, dry seasons, flowering trees, and fruiting cycles. A forest does not offer neat bunches of grocery bananas waiting on every branch. The supermarket banana belongs to human cultivation. It was shaped over thousands of years for softness, sweetness, seedlessness, and easy eating. The Cavendish banana in a store is a crop fruit, grown in farms and moved through packing houses, ships, trucks, ripening rooms, and grocery displays. Wild primates living in African, Asian, or American forests usually encounter local wild fruits, leaves, insects, seeds, and plant parts from their own habitats. Some may come across wild banana relatives in parts of Asia, yet those fruits can be full of hard seeds and very different from the smooth yellow fruit in a lunch bag. Captive primates may accept bananas eagerly because the fruit is sweet, soft, and easy to hold. A banana fits neatly in a hand. Its peel opens without tools. Its smell is strong when ripe. For zoo visitors, it creates a clear and memorable scene. The animal reaches out. The yellow fruit appears. The picture stays in the human imagination. Modern zoos often manage primate diets more carefully than old public images suggest. Because cultivated bananas are high in sugar compared with many wild foods, some zoos limit them or use them only as treats. A captive monkey or ape may receive vegetables, leafy branches, specially prepared primate biscuits, and measured portions of fruit. The goal is to match nutrition more closely to the animal's needs, rather than feeding only the foods that people expect to see. The monkey banana symbol grew because it was easy to understand. Bananas became common in North America and Europe during the rise of the export trade. At the same time, zoos, circuses, illustrated magazines, and later animation shaped public ideas about tropical animals. A banana looked bright on a page or screen. Its curved shape made it funny and easy to recognize. Its peel became part of slapstick comedy, especially in silent film and vaudeville traditions, where slipping on a banana peel became a simple visual joke. The fruit already carried a sense of the tropics for people living far from banana farms. Pairing it with a monkey gave audiences a quick picture of wildness, play, and faraway forests. That picture became stronger through repetition. Children saw monkeys with bananas in drawings. Advertisers used the image because it needed no explanation. Cartoons turned the fruit into a prop. Zoo feeding scenes made the association feel real. Over time, the human-made symbol became so familiar that it seemed like natural history. The banana itself had already followed this pattern. A complex crop became a simple object in daily life. A plant with ancient roots became a yellow snack. A varied primate diet became one bright fruit in the public mind. The monkey and banana image reveals how easily people turn living things into symbols. Behind the symbol, real forests are full of many foods, many feeding habits, and many careful choices made by animals moving through leaves and branches. The banana's most famous animal story leads back to human imagination, where biology, trade, comedy, childhood, and tropical dreams all gathered around one curved yellow fruit. By the time the banana reached the fruit bowl, it had gathered meanings far beyond food. Its shape made it easy to draw. Its peel made it easy to joke about. Its sweetness made it easy to give to children. Its yellow color made it stand out in lunch bags, grocery displays, school cafeterias, and kitchen counters. Few fruits became so visually simple in the public imagination. A banana can be recognized from its outline alone. One curved shape on a sign or a sticker is enough. That simple outline helped it enter cartoons, product labels, comedy routines, and children's books. The banana peel became especially famous. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, banana peels were already tied to street comedy and slapstick humor. Cities were growing. Street vendors sold fruit in busy public places. Discarded peels on sidewalks became part of urban jokes, newspaper cartoons, and stage routines. Silent films later turned the slipping banana peel into a visual gag that needed no spoken language. A person steps forward. A peel waits on the ground. The body loses balance. The audience understands before anything happens. That joke worked because the banana had become common enough for people to recognize instantly. The same fruit also became a childhood object. A banana is soft enough for young children. It can be mashed into baby food. It can be sliced into cereal or packed whole into a school lunch. Parents often choose it because it is clean to carry, easy to open, and gentle in flavor. The peel becomes a built-in wrapper. The fruit inside feels safe, familiar, and mild. In that setting, the banana can mean care. A snack placed in a backpack, a small breakfast before school, a piece of fruit waiting after a sports practice. Its comfort comes from repetition. The banana appears again and again in ordinary rooms, on ordinary mornings, with very little ceremony. At the same time, the banana can carry a much heavier history. In Central America and the Caribbean, banana plantations shaped land, work, railways, ports, and political power. Large companies needed huge areas of tropical lowland for export crops. They built transport systems to move green fruit quickly from field to coast. Workers cut the bunches, carried them, washed them, packed them, and loaded them into the chain that carried bananas north. The fruit that looked simple in a store depended on many hands far away. In 1904, the writer O. Henry helped popularize the phrase banana republic in his book, Cabbages and Kings. The phrase came to describe countries whose economies and politics were heavily shaped by one export crop and the foreign companies that controlled it. Over time, it became a reminder that the banana trade was tied to power, land, and dependence. A fruit can feel gentle in one place and complicated in another. On a breakfast table, it may mean convenience. On a plantation map, it may point to labor and land use. In a shipping ledger, it becomes boxes, weights, port schedules, and prices. In a laboratory, it becomes chromosomes, fungus resistance, and tissue culture. The same yellow curve can hold all of those stories at once. That is part of what makes bananas so unusual. They feel personal and global at the same time. A person can eat one without thinking much about it, yet the fruit may have crossed a continent, an ocean, and several controlled rooms before reaching the hand. It may have been harvested green in Ecuador, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Colombia, or the Philippines. It may have moved in a refrigerated container held near 13 or 14 degrees Celsius. It may have ripened in a room where ethylene helped turn its peel yellow. Its simplicity is carefully made. The banana's meaning also comes from tropical abundance. For people in colder countries, bananas once felt like a bright piece of a faraway climate. A yellow fruit from humid lowlands could sit beside apples from local orchards and seem almost impossible. It carried warmth into winter markets. It turned distant plantations into something visible on the table. This sense of abundance helped sell bananas, but it also softened the harder truth behind them. The fruit's low price often hides the scale of the system that brings it forward. Farms, workers, trucks, washing stations, ports, ships, ripening rooms, and store displays all line up behind one quiet snack. The banana became modern because it fit modern life so well. It was fast. It was portable. It was predictable. It turned a living plant into a daily object people could trust. A fruit shaped by ancient forests, farmers, fungi, ships, comedy, and trade now rests quietly in the hand. By this point, the banana has become a small example of how deeply humans reshape the living world, and how much history can hide inside something that looks simple. By now, the banana on the counter has become much larger than it first appeared. Its yellow peel still rests quietly in the same familiar curve. The fruit still opens with the same soft pull of the fingers. Its pale flesh still carries the same mild sweetness. Yet the story inside it now reaches far beyond the kitchen. That simple fruit began with a plant that only seemed like a tree. In the humid tropics, a banana plant can rise taller than a person, with broad leaves that tear into ribbons in the wind. Its trunk-like column is a pseudostem, made from wrapped leaf bases rather than wood. Below the soil, a corm stores energy and sends up new shoots, letting the plant renew itself after each fruiting stem has finished its work. From that hidden base, the banana lives through return. One stem rises, fruits, fades, and leaves another shoot to continue the line. The fruit itself carries an even older memory. Wild bananas from the genus Musa often held hard black seeds, packed through the flesh like small stones. Those fruits belonged to forests, animals, and seeds spreading long before they belonged to lunch bags. Modern sweet bananas became smooth through unusual biology and human care. Many edible bananas can form fruit without normal fertilization, through a process called parthenocarpy. Their seeds remain as tiny dark traces near the center. That seedlessness made the fruit gentle to eat and difficult to spread by ordinary seed. People answered that difficulty with their hands. In New Guinea, Southeast Asia, and other warm-growing regions, early farmers kept useful banana plants alive by moving suckers from one patch of soil to another. A rare soft fruit could be copied. A good cooking banana could be shared. A plant with heavy bunches could travel with families, traders, and gardeners. Over thousands of years, the banana became a living choice, repeated across villages, islands, coasts, and farms. Its story widened as people carried it through the tropical world. In some regions, bananas and plantains became staple foods, boiled, roasted, fried, mashed, and served with sauces or stews. In other places, the sweet yellow banana became a quick fruit, easy to peel and simple to carry. Both paths belonged to the same larger family. One path stayed close to household gardens and local meals. Another path moved toward ports, shipping routes, ripening rooms, and supermarket displays. Modern trade turned the banana into one of the great traveling fruits. Green bunches were cut in tropical fields, packed into boxes, cooled during transport, and ripened closer to distant markets with the help of ethylene. The Cavendish banana became familiar because it could pass through that system again and again. Before it, Gros Michel ruled the export trade, with thick skin and rich flavor. Panama disease changed that world from below, entering roots and blocking the plant's water-moving tissue. Cavendish replaced Gros Michel because it resisted the older strain of the disease, yet its own sameness carried a quiet risk. Tropical Race 4 later showed how fragile a copied crop can become when a fungus learns the pattern. The banana's future now reaches into laboratories and gene banks. Scientists study wild relatives, rare fertile plants, tissue culture, and genetic tools, searching for disease resistance without losing the texture, ripening, and flavor people expect. The rough-seeded bananas of the forest may still hold traits that can protect the soft fruit of the market. That is the strange circle of the banana. Human care softened it, copied it, and carried it across the world. Wild diversity may help it survive the problems that came from too much sameness. Even after all of that, the banana remains quiet in the hand. Its brown spots mark ripening chemistry. Its flesh carries carbohydrates, fiber, potassium, and gentle energy. Its peel made it easy to pack into school lunches, carry on trips, hand to children, and eat during long days. Its shape moved into comedy, cartoons, zoo imagery, and the old idea of monkeys holding bananas. Even though wild primates eat far more varied diets than that simple picture suggests. A banana is natural living food, deeply domesticated through human attention. It depends on warm soil, careful growers, clean planting material, transport systems, and the hidden renewal of shoots. The fruit in a bowl can now be seen with forests behind it, farms behind it, ships behind it, fungi, laboratories, workers, wild species, ancient gardens, and thousands of years of selection all folded into its simple yellow shape. The banana does not lose its simplicity. It gains depth. A soft fruit on a counter becomes a quiet record of plants and people living together through time. And as the room grows still, that small yellow curve can rest there gently, carrying its long history without making a sound.